Hi, I'm Dr. David Geyer, orthopedic surgeon and sports medicine specialist, and I provide education and commentary on injuries and injury treatments and injury prevention in sports and exercise for athletes and active people, much like yourself, so that you can stay healthy and perform your best. I was at a youth football game, this was probably, several months ago, and there was, he was the coach of a team, but he was also one of the parents, because I saw him walk in with his son. And this was, I think, 8-year-olds that were playing. It was one of those complexes that has multiple fields. There's 5 or 6 fields. And he was just unbelievable how obnoxious he was. Yelling and screaming, not at necessarily the officials or the other players on the other team, but especially his son, just yelling like you wouldn't believe. Now, when his son had a good play, he just went crazy, and I would argue yelling things that were somewhat inappropriate. But again, it was 8-year-old flag football. It was completely inappropriate. And I would bet if you've ever been, if you're a parent of a child or children that play sports, you've probably seen something like this, where you have a parent that's just yelling at the kids, yelling at the coach, yelling at the referees. They're just going off crazy, happy when their team scores, and they're just going crazy when they give up a goal or when the other team scores. It's just not appropriate behavior. It's not appropriate, but it can also have some negative effects on your kids. First of all, when you focus too much on winning, you potentially set the child up to play through pain. Kids don't want to let parents down. They don't want to let their coaches down. They don't want to let their teammates down, so they may not tell you that they're hurting. And if they see you yelling and screaming and only caring about winning, they may not tell you, if it's a baseball pitcher, that his elbow hurts, or if it's a girl soccer player that her knee hurts, because they're afraid of letting you down. And we know that with a number of these youth sports injuries, playing through pain is one of the risks of making the injury worse or potentially needing surgery. So you really don't want to encourage players, young kids especially, to play through pain, and focusing on winning at all costs can certainly do that. Another thing with this type of behavior and really pushing your kids to win at all costs is they may get the message that cheating is okay, or that taking shortcuts, or doing something that necessarily isn't in their best long-term interest is what they should do. Maybe they start using performance-enhancing drugs when they're getting into the high school and college years. You're setting a bad example, and focusing on winning and not the other parts of the game that we'll talk about really sends the wrong message. The third thing about this message of it's all about the wins, or maybe it's all about the stats, is it puts a ton of pressure on kids. And one of the reasons that kids quit sports or they burn out on sports is pressure from parents and maybe pressure from coaches. But this focus on winning and nothing else puts a lot of pressure on kids, puts a lot of pressure on every practice and after every game and the ride home. If all they're hearing is you getting onto them about your team didn't win and what you guys did wrong, that's going to put a lot of pressure. It's going to make them unhappy. They're likely to burn out and quit sports. And we want kids to keep playing sports, again, because there's so many positive benefits of sports, not just physical health, but social benefits and emotional health and mental health, even academic and career success down the road. So we want kids playing, so don't focus on winning at 7 and 8 years old. And then the last thing is, instead of focusing on winning, let's focus on the things that youth sports should be about. Learning the proper skills and techniques of that sport, learning strategies of that sport, so when their bodies mature, they understand the sport, they understand the plays, and then can perform them at a really good level. Plus, the bottom line is youth sports should be fun. That's what we should be focusing on, not whether a 7-year-old team won every game of a football season. It's just not that big of a deal. They're more likely to enjoy that sport if they're having fun, if they're having fun with their friends. So that's what you need to focus on as a parent and as a coach. Now, do you agree with me, or do you think I'm completely wrong? I'd love to hear your thoughts, good or bad. So below this video, I would love it if you leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd try to reply to of those as well. But I want to hear what you think. Do parents focus too much on winning in youth sports? Now, if you like videos like this and want more information on injuries and injury treatment and injury prevention in sports and exercise, I record 1 or 2 of these videos every week. So subscribe to my video channel and they'll be delivered straight to you. Now, if you have friends that have kids that play sports, or maybe you have friends that are coaches in youth sports, I'd love it if you share this video with them so that they can get my thoughts on this focus on winning, and they potentially could share their thoughts with us as well. Now, I would love it, last thing I'll mention to you, I'd love it if you'd go to my website, drdavidgeyer.com. I have an email list that I share resources on ways to stay healthy and perform your best in sports and exercise that are completely free, and I only share by email. So go to my website and sign up. You'll get a free ebook on ways to stay healthy in a variety of different sports and exercise, but I'd love to share those with you on a regular basis. Thank you so much for joining. Remember, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this focus and this concentration, this all-out effort to win at all costs. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that in youth sports, and I look forward to seeing you right here next time.